Hello and welcome to our Pinnacle Cart tutorials. In this tutorial we are going to cover adding a product attribute. So in this case I've just added a test product to our demo cart of a computer desktop, and I've gone through in a different tutorial all of the information you would fill in under the product info and walk through all of the different options that are there. In this particular one we are now going to click on the Attributes tab and we are going to create an attribute. Attributes are, if you were say selling t-shirts, would be your sizes, so medium, large, extra large sizes of shirt, or if you sold that shirt in blue, green, gray, black, white. Those would be attributes that people have to pick to distinguish which particular product they want. So instead of you having to put your t-shirt up there 10 different times because you have 10 different colors, you could actually have the t-shirt there once with the color choice. So what we're going to do is create an attribute. When you click create an attribute, you're going to get this screen right here, and it can look a little confusing, but it's actually pretty simple. So what we're going to do is give this a name. So I'm going to say we're going to call this computer memory, and I've got a computer as a product, so my option is going to be add computer memory. And then I want to make this, I don't want to have it as a drop down option. I prefer radio buttons because they're kind of much easier for the person to see. However, if you have multiple attributes that you need to add to the page, drop downs would be better because then your page doesn't go on for a mile. You could also have a text input if somebody needs to give you some information, or an area if they actually have to give you, a large amount of text. So in this case I'm going to say I want radio buttons. The attribute is active. I do want it active, but I am not tracking inventory, so I'm going to uncheck mark that box. You can leave the priority as it is if you only have the one. If you have multiple, again, attributes, so you're going to put color, size, embroidery options, whatever you want to put in here, you could put them in order. 1 obviously would be the top, 10 would be the bottom. You can assign them a number and then they get asked for the attributes in the order you want them to be. So in here I'm going to say 4 gigabytes of RAM, and that's going to be my standard. So in this case I'm not adding any cost. So the way this would come across, and it is explained down here at the bottom, basically if you want to add something you're going to put plus 0, plus $100, plus $5, whatever the cost is. If the actual thing is affected by a weight increase as well, so they're ordering a larger size of a jar of jam, then in that case you would add in the weight. So what you would want to do is say first the price increase, then the weight increase, and the weight is going to increase by plus 0.5 pounds. Now, it's very crucial in here that you have a comma between your two options, but that you also do not put any spaces in there, because when you do, it doesn't compute the right way. And you do have to begin and end with parentheses. So in this case, RAM is my base, so it's just plus 0. But let's say I wanted to now give somebody the option of adding 8 gigabytes of RAM, but that's a $100 upgrade, so I'm going to put plus 100. And then let's say I'm going to really give them an opulent computer option and then say 16 gigabytes of RAM, and that's going to be plus $500. But let's say that one adds some weight on, so then I'm also going to say plus 0.5 pounds. Of course, it's not realistic, but just in terms so we can test it. So I'm going to say add attribute, and it will process, and it's going to list the attribute here now on this particular page, let you know what all is happening. And what we can do is I'm here on my page, I'm just going to refresh it, and what you will see is here now we have these options. It does actually show you what the actual options are. Unfortunately, that is just the way the cart works. But you can see my price here is $12.99. If I add my 8 gigabytes, it goes to $13.99. If I add my 16, it goes to $17.99. So it does actually affect the price. And it is telling it here that this adds 0.5 of a pound. And then I can add it to the cart.